Hello, today we're going through Dehya's friendship level 4 voice lines, seeing what she thinks about people, learning more about her vision, and more. There's going to be video chapters down below, so if you want to skip to the part you want to hear about, you're free to. And yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Kusanali was his name. As a merc, he had a slapdash way of working, and a whole lot of bravado. But he also saved me from the desert, and did whatever he could to pass on to me everything he had. Without him, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Dehya's dad was such a chad. Playing through her story quest, it hit me so hard at the end. Learning what he did in the background to support Dehya, and not even that. I mean, he literally went to the headquarters of their group. Even though he was using a cane, he couldn't really walk. He went in there, just burnt down all the records, freeing literally every eremite that was under their control, and giving them a free clean slate to work off. He is such an amazing dad. Even though he's not her biological father, he did a fantastic job, especially with the cards that he was dealt. But yeah, Dehya's dad definitely was the MVP of that event, just going down in a blaze of glory. Massive respect. Vision.
How's my life changed since getting my vision? Huh. Well, obviously it gives me an extra edge in battle. But honestly, the biggest thing for me is that it's helped me bring a few more mercs into the Blazing Beasts.
True, I actually didn't think of that. Visions can be used as like an advertisement. But yeah, in the line of work that Dehya's in, a vision most certainly helps. Visions are more combat based, but they do help in other situations as well, rather that comes to resisting withering zones and these other different effects of like corruption. But mainly visions are to help with fighting, dealing with monsters, or just beating the shit out of someone, you know? But yeah, visions could work as excellent advertisements. Oh yeah, I want to join her group. She has a vision. Okay, I'll join. Tighnari.
The one that got away. I came this close to doing a job for that guy.
Oh,
A
really?
contact put us in touch. I was supposed to be his guide through the desert for some kind of investigation. But then it got canceled out of the blue. No idea why. Wait, actually, I think there was something about him not being good with the heat. I'm not sure, but it could have been that.
There's a 90% chance it was because of the heat. He cannot put up with that kind of environment, so... Though I am quite curious on what he was trying to investigate. Maybe some fruits or plants from the desert is the only really thing I can think of. I can't really see him going there to investigate ruins. The god of wisdom herself.
You know, I always thought the Academia's worst were just a bunch of greedy dogs, each fighting for their slice of the pie. Nope. Turns out they were a vicious pack of wolves who betrayed the whole nation.
Yeah.
If you want my opinion, Lesser Lord Kusanali was too good to them. Those animals didn't deserve her mercy. She should have broken every single bone in their bodies. Instead, they got a nice little vacation in the rainforest. To say they got off lightly is just putting it mildly.
Yeah, the punishment that was given to the sages definitely annoyed me. Like, come on. They literally betrayed the whole nation. They got like, oh, a little slap on the wrist, and they're like, oh yes, we learned the errors of our way, we're sorry. Now that you're powerful, oh, sorry. Sorry that we imprisoned you and tried to make a new god. But yeah, I agree with Dehya. You should have at least broken every bone in their body, and then sent them to the forest. There's been very few NPCs in this game that have made me want to punch them in the face. We got the two characters from Alhaitham's story quest, who just didn't give two shits a guy game end himself. Those two really annoyed me, but then we also had the sages, which, if you were playing Genshin at the time when that story event was still being released, there was so much rage towards sages, and everyone just wanting to save Nahida. That was fun to be a part of when it was happening. Nahida as an Archon is still new and young, and she cares for people, so that's why she didn't, you know, give them a severe punishment. But yeah, so far Nahida best Archon because she's actually the only one that's given us a little bit of information on our brother, Candace.
Candace. I love her to bits. But she can be as stubborn as a sumpter beast sometimes. I keep telling her she ought to cut herself some slack, take some time off, maybe go take a walk around Sumeru City. Buy herself some nice new clothes or jewelry. But she always says the same old thing. She can't bear to leave the village unprotected.
That's fair.
I don't know how many times she's turned me down now. If I really can't persuade her, I guess I'll just have to watch the village for her sometime and get one of my Eremite girls to take her shopping.
Oh, that's actually really sweet. But yeah, Candace is definitely one of those characters that stick to their role. As a protector, she is goated. If I was living there and I had Candace protecting me, I'll be like, fair enough. I'm safe. I'm sorted. But even if it's like on rare occasions, everyone needs a break, you know? There's only so much until you break. And come on, who doesn't want to go shopping with Dehya? That just seems like a great experience all around. But yeah, the village would be in good hands if Dehya was the one protecting it for a day. I definitely can't see anyone coming to raid it when Dehya's there. With her reputation, big brain Alhaitham.
He offered me a position in the academia once.
Yep.
I declined. Working in a place like that would bore me to death. He, on the other hand, is exactly the kind of person I can imagine working there. Always talking in long, convoluted sentences and in that snooty tone.
Alhaitham definitely has a snooty tone, but he doesn't really care for who you are. He does it to everyone. He couldn't care if you're of lower class, higher class. Man just wants to listen to some music and be left alone, which honestly I can respect it. But yeah, I said the same thing on Alhaitham's voice line on Dehya. I can never see a day where Dehya works in the academia. It's just not an environment that suits her whatsoever. But yeah, Alhaitham, definitely a unique individual at the academia. But goddamn is he hot. About
The
Cyno.
General Mahamatra? Doesn't suffer fools gladly, and certainly doesn't beat around the bush. Having seen the way he works, he gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, Cyno does not give two shits. He does not hold back whatsoever. You break the rules, you're definitely getting something broken. And God forbid if you even try and resist or run. I mean, we've seen what happens to people that do that in his... What was it? His demo? Or was it his teaser? It was one of the academia students who ran away, I think. Cyno is definitely the guy you don't want to run into when he's in his work mode, since, he's a bit scary. Though when he's not in his work mode and he's just kind of being relaxed, he's a goofball. We've seen that at the moment in the current Windbloom Festival, with his top-of-the-line comedy about Nilou.
Now that the whole saga with the academia is over, I guess she can finally dance as much as she wants. She offered me some of her face powder last time I saw her. But in this line of work, it'd be wasted on me. So I told her to give it to Candace instead. I wonder how she's liking it. I need to go check sometime.
It's not just for Nilou, but I think everyone in the theatre, in the Grand Bazaar, them being able to do performances, like actually get recognized and be allowed to do their amazing performances without being restricted. Like, I think that's just good for all of them, but especially Nilou, since, come on, just take one look at like her dance sequences and you're like, bro, I could watch that all day. And of course we got in this voice line, Dehya's very interested in makeup. She quite clearly wants to know more about the face powder or use it. Which that was a very interesting thing to learn about Dehya, is how much she loves makeup. It's quite cute to see. About the scammer.
Ah, the famous merchant. I've heard that her prices aren't cheap. But is it true that she can get a hold of anything you want? Then
Maybe.
I should start talking to her, because some of the supplies we mercs need are impossible to get anywhere else on the market, no matter what you're willing to pay.
I mean, yeah, I definitely can see the possibility of her getting anything you want, but, goddamn, you're gonna have to pay up a shit to the Mora. She does everything within her ability to try and scam you. But yeah, if you can deal with a brat who scams you, I'll go for it. About Layla.
Ah, the sleepy girl. Yeah, I think I remember her. I ran into her once at an oasis on the outskirts of the desert. She was out with some group from the academia doing astronomical observations or something. I wasn't really paying attention. Huh? Candace? What now? Emissary from the stars? The heck is that all about?
No idea.
Almost sounds like she didn't wake up before getting out of bed.
I don't know too much about Candace or Layla, so I have no idea what that means. But I've also realized Dehya does the same thing I do with giving people, like, a very generic way of remembering someone is like, oh, the sleeping girl. Oh, the merchant. I personally find it a lot easier to remember someone by the things they do rather than their names. For some unknown reason, I am terrible at remembering names, let alone pronouncing them. But yeah, I really need to look into more of Candace's lore along with Layla's, and to catch up on Mona's, since, you know, they're all stuff to do about astrology or astronomic things that I have no idea about. Tell us more about yourself.
Being a merc is tough. The work itself is one thing, but the worst part is trying to get your client to pay you after you finish the job. The academia is top of my list. They're pretty straightforward. The Adventurers Guild isn't too bad either, but trading merchants can be a total nightmare. They're always telling me that their funds are tied up, so cash is tight, yada yada. Just a few more days, they say. If cash is so tight, how'd you pay for that big pile of goods on your cart,
A valid point, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, if I was in that situation, I would just be like, yo, alright, you don't have money? Sell the things that are on your cart at the minute then, you know? We'll go sell them now, why not? The last person I'm gonna hold back payments on is Dehya. Was if I hired Dehya, I would try my very best to try and pay her back in time. Dehya is terrifying. But yeah, take one good look at Dehya's character demo and you'll understand that the last thing you want to do is piss Dehya off, let alone probably stand her up and not pay her. It's like, oh yeah, I'll pay you back, don't worry, I mean, I haven't paid you in 3 days, and then next minute, you know, it's just... Right, and that's about all of them. But yeah, if you enjoyed this type of content, I've made videos similar to this, which you can find here. If you want to support the channel, just be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you next time.